Good morning and welcome on in. My name is Romanda Noble Watson, and I am the Director of Communications and Public Relations for the South Carolina High School League. It is my esteemed pleasure to welcome everyone in to the South Carolina High School League Middle School Leadership Summit. I know this will be exciting and enlightening for all of you. But before we begin the summit, we have on the screen with us Dr. Jerome Singleton, the Commissioner of the South Carolina High School League, who will bring you some greetings. Dr. Singleton?
Thank you, Director Noble Watson. Good morning. Thank you to all the school personnel that has helped to make this possible. To the student athletes, congratulations. You have been selected to be a part of something that will follow you the rest of your life. This Leadership Summit is one of the best things that we have going, and you're our future. So we count on you to take advantage of these opportunities and help us to be better. This conference or this summit is only as valuable as you are in engaging it. Ask questions, participate. You have great presenters in front of you. Take advantage of their knowledge, but press them for answers. Again, congratulations, welcome, and thank you for being here.
Thank you so much for those greetings, Dr. Singleton. And now I bring to the screen Dr. Cottrell Rodan. She's the mastermind behind this Leadership Summit. She is our Director of Educational Services. Welcome in, Dr. Rodan.
Good morning. I got to give a shout out. I decided I'm going to keep it to 1 minute, so you guys keep me to it. Welcome, Boiling Springs Middle, Great Falls, Robert E. Howard, Bethune-Bowman, Indian Land Middle, Creighton, Hemingway, Myrtle Beach, Andrew Jackson, Blacksburg, Chapin, St. George, Chestnut Oak, North Central, Beaufort County, Seneca, Riverside, Cliffdale, Bluffton, North Myrtle Beach, Hopkins, Davis College Preparatory, Lady Island Middle, American Leadership Academy, St. Andrews Middle, North District Middle, Edgewood Middle, Pleasantburg Knoll, Hillcrest, Palmetto Middle, Louisville Middle, Getty's Middle, Haywood Gibbs, W.A. Perry, Newberry, Batesburg, Leesville, Hemingway Middle, I said that one again, and then Sand Hill. We are so glad to have you, everyone. The South Carolina High School League is so happy to have you all here. Make sure you do particular things. We want to make sure that you have your writing utensils, you have your pencil, you have your paper, but then you also need to make sure you have your brains open to receive the information that you're about to get. We have some dynamic speakers. Make sure that whatever you get, you take it with you and do amazing things once you leave this conference. Thank you again. Back to you, Romanda Noble Watson.
Thank you so much, Dr. Rodan, for those uplifting, the shout outs. And now we are ready to get started. Our first speaker is here to provide you with some tools on how to stay in love with athletics. It is Miss Lauren Gordon. Ms. Gordon is a senior at Coastal Carolina University and a scholarship student athlete in track and field. She believes in high academic standards and therefore maintains a 3.2 grade point average, beauty, athletics, and brains. She is an exercise and sports science major and upon graduation plans to obtain her Doctor of Physical Therapy. She has earned all Sun Belt Conference honors for indoor and outdoor track for the last 3 seasons. She was a state champion in high school in the 400-meter hurdles. Her motto is to keep God first and the rest will fall into place. Please join me in welcoming to the screen, Ms. Lauren Gordon.
Hi guys. Oh, my goodness, I'm so excited. I was so nervous. So we're gonna get started. So my main topic is motivation. And as a senior, you get that senioritis. You're like, I don't want to do anything. I really don't want to do anything. But the whole point of this is to make sure that you keep your priorities in line and you take care of yourself, because mental health is a big big thing as of right now. It didn't used to be. Wait, I'm gonna start this. Yeah, I'll get this. Oops. This is, I'll start this presentation. Okay. So first slide, motivation, stay ready so you don't have to get ready. Now that's a motto that my parents have been giving me for as long as I can remember, for as long as I've been playing sports. And I've been playing sports since I was like 5 years old, y'all. I've been playing for a long time. So we're going to start with the two different types of motivation. So that's extrinsic and intrinsic. So extrinsic motivation is motivation based on outside factors. So for me, my extrinsic motivation would be like, oh yeah, Lauren, you did a great job today. Or like my Sunbelt titles or getting medals or keeping my scholarship, increasing my scholarship. Because like when you get to college, the more points that you score, the more money you get as far as scholarship wise. So that would be an extrinsic motivation. So I don't know what extrinsic motivation you guys have. I know they have Q&As here. So if y'all have any questions while I'm going, like just let me know. Intrinsic motivation. So intrinsic motivation is what our primary focus is. So motivation based on self-determination. You want to feel good about yourself. You want to make sure that you are your primary focus. You're focused on getting better. And the main reason that you're doing this is because you love your sport. Now, we all have moments where it's like, man, I really don't want to go to practice today. Or I really don't feel like lifting today. I really don't feel like doing this. But the more you do it, it starts off as a discipline and then it turns into a desire. So most people start off because their parents told them to do it or because they need to get in shape or they're trying to get a scholarship. They might not love the sport, but after a while, you start to fall in love with the process. So we're going into positive and negative reinforcement. Now, this is something that looks different for everybody. So positive reinforcement is reward for good behavior, whether verbal or other. So some examples are up on the screen. So it might be a pat on the back after practice, or you getting good grades and your parents taking you out of ice cream to get McDonald's. My parents used to take me to get McDonald's now when I got all A's. So that was my positive reinforcement. But it's something that you get that makes you want to continue that behavior. So if you have a coach that's always encouraging you, always giving you pats on the back, making sure that they correct you in positive ways, they're not always yelling and screaming at you, that makes you want to keep going. Now, negative reinforcement is punishment for bad behavior, whether verbal or other. So I know we have multiple different sports on here. So my dad's a basketball coach. So I got to watch them run a lot for missing free throws. You don't miss free throws. That was one thing he always told his athletes, do not miss free throws. So they always had suicides whenever they would miss free throws. Every free throw that they missed, they would have to run, getting yelled at. Getting yelled at by your coach for not following instructions. Now that can be on, off the court, on the field, off the field, in the classroom. So the way they have it set up here is they will take you out of practice if you are not doing what you need to do in the classroom, which I appreciate. I do what I need to do in the classroom. My parents raised me well. Make sure y'all get y'all grades, definitely. But I know for me, I don't want to have that repercussion because I'm not doing what I'm supposed to. So always listen to your coaches, always follow instructions because they know what's best for you. Now, regaining motivation. This has to be the most, if y'all don't take anything else from me today, make sure you take this because there will be times where you do not feel motivated to do anything. So as you can see, my first bullet is prayer and affirmations. Make sure you talk to God first. So we all get into these moments where it's like, I really don't know what to do. I really don't know what to do with myself. I really don't feel like doing anything. I just want to sit and like you think about your life. And you have to pray. You have to make sure you keep God first, and He will answer all of your questions. It might not be immediately, but He will give you signs as to what you need to do and what path you need to follow. Now, the second bullet is gathering with community. Your teammates are going through the same things you're going through. They have days where they don't want to practice either. They have days where they don't want to lift either. And nobody's feeling it today, but coach is just making y'all run and run and run, and you're sick of it. Spend time together with your teammates. And we had to do a lot of team building, and kingdom building is on here too, because you need to be able to share your faith with other people. Now, I don't know if everybody on here is a believer. I know I am, but that's what helps me. So I get with my teammates. My teammates come to church with me. My teammates come to Bible study with me. Like, we just get closer together, and that helps us be a better team. That helps us better support everybody else. Third bullet, remember why you started playing your sport in the first place. So this is my senior year, and we got a whole new coach. We have a whole new training program, whole new lift schedule. Everything is different. We have a few new teammates, but not so much on the sprint side. They're mostly freshmen, so that's going to come anyways. But remember why you started in the first place. So for me, it took a lot for me to fall back in love with the sport, because I got to a point where I was like, man, my coach is leaving. It's my senior year. What am I doing here? Like, should I stay? Should I leave? Because a lot of my teammates have transferred these past couple of years. And after finding out that our coach was leaving, they also transferred. So I was like, what's the point of me staying? But I realized how much roots I've planted here and why I started running in the first place. So it says BJ on here because, sorry. So BJ used to play basketball for my dad, and we pretty much grew up together. He got to watch me grow up, and he used to chase me around in the gym, and it would get me like super excited, get my blood flowing. I'll be running away from him. And that's really the main reason I started running to begin with. And my freshman year at Keenan, he passed away. So we never got to be teammates, but my coaches, my teammates, they all knew him. So they were very supportive of making sure that I was able to hit all the goals that I wanted to that year. And I had to make sure that I remembered why I started running in the first place, to make sure I kept myself going, because without him, I probably wouldn't be running right now. And I've been running since my 7th grade year. So that's 10 years, y'all. That's a long time to be running every single day. It's okay. And I already said this starts off as a discipline, and then it becomes a desire. So the more you do something, the more you're going to want to do it. So if you go a day or two without working out, you're like, man, I didn't go to the gym today. Let me get right. Let me get right. Okay. Preparing for high school and beyond. Keep your grades up. Keep your grades up, please. I promise you, it'll be worth it in the end. Me, I did everything possible in high school. And honestly, y'all, school kept me out of trouble. School, track, home. School, track, home. That's pretty much all I did for all 4 years of high school. I did a lot of other extracurricular activities too, but the fact that I was so invested in school and making sure I kept my grades right was a big part of why I ended up at Coastal in the first place, and why I'm getting the scholarships that I'm getting. Some of them are academic, some of them are athletic, but if you're good at your sport and you're good at school, you are more likely to get into the school that you want to after high school. But my parents, we didn't bring home no C's. There was going to be punishment after. There was no, you do not want to get punished after bringing home a C. We don't do C's in our house. A's and B's, and even if you got a B, my mom, my dad, they were like, you can do better. Yeah, no, you can get an A. You can get an A. Not gonna lie, y'all, college is hard. So sometimes the B is acceptable, but it's okay. We're talking about high school. I got all A's in high school. The only B's that I got were in my AP history classes. I hate history, but I got it. I got my grades. I was good. I graduated with a 4.9, and it was like a 5.5 scale. So actually that was pretty good, considering they feel like athletes aren't the best at school. So I kind of changed that narrative. And then being an African American athlete, it was a lot harder for me being at a primarily white school. That was kind of difficult. So I had to prove myself a little bit. Learn the value of hard work early. You have to love the process. It's gonna hurt. It's gonna suck at times. You're gonna feel like, man, I don't want to go to practice no more. I quit. I'm done. But you're still gonna come back every single day. You need to be primarily intrinsically motivated. Everything needs to be, I need to get better every single day. Point blank, period. Love the process now so you can reap the rewards at the end. So for me, our conditioning season is awful. It's filled with hills and volume runs and ladders and stadiums, and it's a lot and it sucks. But once we get to January and we're doing our indoor season, you get to see all of that work paid off. And it feels really good. And that's part of that intrinsic motivation, making sure you make yourself better every single day. You don't have to worry about the results because the improvement's going to come regardless. Accountability. Take responsibility for your own progress. Coaches give instructions, but if you don't handle your business, they can't fix training. So if you're halfway doing sets, halfway doing reps, and you're not giving your all every single day, you can't expect to get solid results. You can't. There's no way, because the coaches can't fix what they need to if you're not giving your all in practice every single day. Trust God. Even when you can't see what the outcome is going to be, you have to keep God first. Always trust the process. Acknowledge that it can be difficult to balance being a student athlete, but it can also be fun. And this goes back to enjoying time with your teammates and making sure you get along with them. Because I know we all have problems with our teammates. We had a lot of problems these past couple of years. Honestly, this is the most peaceful year that we've had as far as the team. But part of that is our coach and making sure that we warm up together, we practice together. It's very cohesive now. He's very big on making sure that we all get along with each other. And you might not like everybody that you're teammates with, but you need to be cordial. You're all going to be on the same team. You win together, you lose together. And that is all for me, you guys. Do you guys have any questions? Oh, I don't have time.
Well, Miss Lauren, we're gonna stop sharing our screen. And yes, so we do have a question, Miss Lauren. And the question came, I don't know who it came from, but the question was, when did you start playing?
I started
You
my
started running, I'm sorry.
I started running my 7th grade year. So halfway through middle school, because for whatever reason, they didn't allow 6th graders to play sports, which I never really understood. But they did at the middle school that I transferred to. So I started off at Summit Parkway, and that was in 6th grade. After that, I went to W.G. Sanders Middle School. Go Tigers. Forever a Tiger. But 7th grade year, I first started running track, and I used to be a distance runner. I don't run distance anymore. I don't run distance anymore. If you will not catch me running anything over 500 at all, ever. Yeah.
And another question is, why did you start running? Did you have a reason why?
Well, I started because of BJ. He just made me excited to get active, and because he was on the track team at Keenan, that was a way that we could spend more time together officially. But unfortunately, we never got to do that.
Thank you, Miss Lauren. And we're going to take the biggest thing I took away from it, and I try to use this in my everyday life, and that is, if you stay ready, you don't have to get ready. So that is definitely a lesson you can use throughout athletics, throughout your life, just in general. If you stay ready, you don't have to get ready. Thank you so very much. Oh, wait. We have another question that came in. What events did you run? I think you answered some of those, but the one question they wanted to know is, what events did you run in and what were your times?
Okay, so
And I guess they're talking about when you were in middle school. You
I was
said
gonna say, yeah.
you started when you were in
So-
middle school. So can you give them just a small rundown of when you what the times may possibly be, so they want to encourage them a little bit more?
I would say I was like primarily an 800 runner. So I ran like the 800 and the 4x4. My 4x4 splits probably were somewhere around 105 back in middle school, somewhere in that range. My 800 was a 301. So yeah, I was a district champion that year, my 8th grade year. So Yeah.
Well, thank you. Let me just check the chat to make sure. I think that was all of the questions that we had for Ms. Lauren, and we definitely appreciate you bringing that insight
Thank
to our middle
you.
schoolers, and hopefully they grabbed a couple of tidbits from your slides to help them go on as they compete throughout the year. And we thank you, and good luck to you in your senior year at Coastal Carolina. We
Thank
definitely wish you well, and
you.
congratulations on everything that you've already accomplished so far.
Thank you.
Now we're going to continue on with our summit. The next speaker for the South Carolina High School League Middle School Leadership Summit is Javonda Ronette Brown. Ms. Brown is a native of Charleston, South Carolina, and is often described as a charismatic, engaging, and empowering. For the past 8 years, she has led the elite ladies, of the Fairfield County School District, a mentoring program for young ladies in grades 7 through 12. Under her leadership, the program has hosted 6 auxiliaries, various community events, and service project, and most importantly, has a 100% graduation rate. The program is designed to develop, empower, and equip young ladies in becoming effective leaders, change agents, visionaries, and entrepreneurs that will positively impact their schools and communities, and encourage them to become the best version of themselves. A Geechee Gullah girl that uses comedic elements and life experiences to engage and relate to her audience has caused her to be a well sought after speaker, instructor, and host. Ms. Brown believes in taking a holistic approach to engage and empower willing people to reach their fullest potential. She firmly believes that walking out God's plan for your life produces supernatural results. Here to bring you insight on leadership and self-confidence in the age of social media is Miss Javonda Ronette Brown. Welcome in, Miss Brown.
Good morning. How are you doing? I hope you all are having a fantastic Thursday. I call this Thankful Thursday, and I just want to say to the South Carolina High School League, thank you all so much for giving me this opportunity to speak to your student athletes who are in leadership on today. I am going to go ahead and begin sharing my screen, and hopefully things will run smoothly. Here's no black sheep. Here's no black sheep. Even if you wanted to, you cannot be black. Listen like this. Why should I swing it like that? Because the fact on me it might not attract. Therefore, all right, good morning. So if you all can look at the screen, you see a young lady sitting at the crossroads. And I played this song. It's going to kind of slightly age me. Some people on here are going to know exactly who Black Sheep is, but back in the 90s, they had a song called The Choice Is Yours. And so essentially my talk is about making the right choices. And one way we can make the right choices is through our mindset, because life is choice driven, and we live or we die based off of the choices we make. So choose wisely. I am so sorry. So the next slide says leadership matters. Last night, I had the awesome opportunity, as you all heard, I am the district coordinator for the Elite Ladies of Fairfield County School District here in Fairfield. And one of the auxiliaries that Fairfield County School District Elite Ladies has is a award-winning dance team called FC Diamond Elite. And as I sat down with my leadership and with the team on tonight, I
wanted to re-emphasize to them that leadership matters. And it is so important as a leader to understand who you are and set standards for yourself. Because ultimately you are a brand. I'm getting ahead of myself in my presentation, but I'm so excited because you have the awesome opportunity to decide how you want to lead others. So the first picture that you see to your left says, be bold, be true, be kind, be you. It is so important, especially in this age of social media. When I was growing up, and your parents, if they're honest, would we are so glad that there wasn't a social media present, because we didn't always make the right decisions. If we are totally honest, we did not always make the right decision. And so because you all have all of this readily available to you with cell phones, with Instagram and Snap and TikTok and Facebook and Twitter, that people are readily and can assess, you are very accessible to others. And so that's why it's so very important that you understand that you as a leader, you are a brand. So there's Nike, and there's you have your Jordans, and you have whatever brand, athletic brand you want to go with, that's a brand. And believe it or not, even at your age, brands are checking out who you are. People and businesses and organizations are checking out who you are as a student athlete. So choose wisely what you allow to be said about you. Choose wisely how you portray yourself in these social media streets, and understand that there is always eyes on you. There's always someone watching. The other photo you see to the right of you says, become the kind of leader that people would follow voluntarily. Even if you had no title or position, even if you weren't the team captain, even if you weren't the person that was in charge of teaching certain things or leading the stretching or whatever it may be that you're assigned on your team, if you did not have the title, would people be willing to follow you? And then the final slide in the middle says, true leaders always practice the 3 R's: respect for yourself, respect for others, and taking responsibility for your actions. Leadership, the title, the glamour, and hearing your name called, the way it makes you feel to know that your coaches can depend on you, it all comes with a cost. And that cost is leading by example. Are you the person on the team that people can follow? Do you have a split personality? I tell my girls this all the time. Are you one way at practice, but when you walk in the hallways of your schools, how do your teachers view you? Are you the person that is helpful, or are you the class clown? Are you the one that respects those in authority, or are you the one who's always whispering or mumbling under your breath? Are you the one that's the fire starter? And what do you mean by fire starter, Ms. Brown? I'm talking about you're always the one bringing the news to someone else. Girl, I heard so-and-so. Man, I heard this. Are you the fire starter? Or are you the person when information is brought to you about somebody, even if it's one of your teammates, that you pull them aside instead of embarrassing them and said, hey, this is what I heard? Or do you have that type of relationship with your coach and say, I think you should be aware this is going on with so-and-so? It happened to me last night. I had one of my dancers come up to me and say, Ms. Brown, when practice is over, I just need to bring something to your attention. She has no title. She just was concerned about one of her teammates, and she wanted me to be aware that this student had XYZ going on and they were getting a reputation that was not favorable to that individual. And because she understands that Gervonda Brown and Elite Ladies and FC Diamond Elite is a brand, she was bringing information to me to ensure that our brand was protected. And so I heard when she first started and started introducing all the schools, she introduced several schools throughout the process. Your school, your team is a brand. Are you protecting the brand? As a leader, it is your responsibility to not only protect your brand as an individual, but as a member of the team, to protect your team's name. When you go out and when you travel and when you compete, do you display great sportsmanship? Because we are in the age of, ooh, something about to go down. Let me get my phone out. Let me record this. Let me upload this to social media. Now it goes viral. In the process of something that happens with your team going viral or you going viral, how is that going to affect the brand? These are just some things to consider, student leaders. Yes, you have the title. Yes, you're getting acknowledged for all the wonderful things that you do, but it comes with a cost. Let me keep on time. So I also was asked to talk about self-confidence. And oftentimes I see this more in our young ladies than I do in my young gents. But I tell them all the time, be more concerned about what you think of yourself than what other people think of you. Because I want you to understand that sometimes people are fickle. I'm talking about, I have seen young people transition here in Fairfield. Our elementary schools go up to the 6th grade, okay? So by the time they reach middle school here is only 7th through 8th grade. So not only are they transitioning from being in an elementary school mindset to middle school, but they're also transitioning as it relates to friendships, as it relates to getting used to the new teachers and their way of wanting them to be responsible for their work. So self-confidence is more about how you feel and how you view yourself. And because, again, people are fickle. So your friends that might have been your friends in in elementary school, you may have a totally different circle of friends when you get in middle school. And I want you to understand that even those people in your circle, are they all moving in the same direction that you're trying to go in? Student athlete, do they have the same mindset? Do they have the same goals that you have? Because understand, everybody in your circle currently may not be for you. And you need to be very aware. I just like to tell my kids, I like to keep it 100 with them. I need you to be very aware of who's in your circle and who's for you. Let me give you an example. Someone who wants you to be successful, when you get to that crossroad of making that decision, they're going to be that person that say, hey, I don't think, the group might say, hey, we're going to, after school, before practice, we're going to vape. We're going to smoke. We're going to do X, Y, Z. That person in your circle that wants to see you successful and want to see you succeed and have a mindset of not just what's going on today in middle school, but thinking, hey, we could do this. Once we leave middle school, we're in high school. Now we're at college level, just like the young lady just said before. And there are so many more opportunities available to you. And so we don't need to mess that up in middle school. We don't need to vape because that's going to affect our lungs, which is going to affect how we are as student athletes. That is someone that you need to keep in your circle because they're going to hold you accountable. Self-confidence is simply having belief in yourself and your abilities. You value yourself. Self-confidence is doing what you believe to be right, even if others criticize you for it. It's not going to be the popular opinion. Let me just be quite honest. It's not going to be comfortable all the time. But you have to value you over everybody else. So 9 ways we can increase your self-confidence. Your student athletes, exercise even outside of practice. Do those things, eat healthy, drink water, and mind the business that pays you. Stay in your lane. Okay? Stop comparing yourself with others. Stay focused on you. Be positive. Even when everything around you says be negative, be positive. Make a decision. Look at the good in every situation. Focus on yourself and improving, meaning I am able to take constructive critique, not only from my coaches, but my teammates. And then making the necessary adjustments so it makes the team better. Set your schedule every day and complete them. Have goals. Have big goals, have small goals. Stay focused on that. Whatever you may be going through, keep smiling, but I also let my kids know, have someone that you can confide in. Whether that be a coach, whether that be a counselor, let there be a teacher, let there be somebody that you can confide in who has your best interests at heart. Record your life achievements. That's what social media is about. It's about showcasing your accomplishments, okay? And remember to love yourself, because you indeed are a gift. You are valued, you are important, and you are necessary. I tell my girls every day in the morning, before you check social media, before you allow your feet to hit the floor, say positive things to yourself. This is going to be a great day. I am going to accomplish all that I set out to do on today. I'm favored. People favor me. People go out of their way to help me, to assist me. Okay? So increase your self-confidence, increase your belief in yourself. These are just some additional tools. Accept yourself, practice positive affirmations. I'm brushing my teeth in the morning. I have index cards and stickies all over my mirror telling me who I am, what I can accomplish. This young lady said it earlier, connect with your higher self, whether it be prayer, meditation, yoga. I am who I am because of God living in me. Whatever your belief system is, that's what's going to keep you grounded. That's what's going to keep you humble. Set small, manageable goals. Like I said again, adopt a healthy lifestyle. I'm going to be quite honest with you. Nobody else may keep it 100 with you, but I know what's going on at that middle school level. I know the temptations that are there to make you feel acceptable. But let me let you know, it's okay to stand out. It's okay not to be with the crowd. It's okay to start your own trend. Okay, I remember back in high school, we had a group of guys, and on a certain day of the week, they would dress up. They would have their button-up shirts and ties on, because they always said they were going to be about their business. They would handle business. Today, 30 years later, I just had my 30th class reunion. All of those guys are in business for themselves, but they set it up back when we were in middle and high school. So again, set small, manageable goals, adopt healthy lifestyles, protect your environment at all costs. Because there's a cost to smoking. There's a cost to drinking. There's a cost to engaging in behavior that is not acceptable. And again, avoid comparing yourself to others. I'm about to wrap it up. Social media. It is your digital footprint. And I always ask my kids, how are you representing yourself in these digital streets? So I say this, what are your standards? When it comes to social media, let me help y'all out. I put up a post about 2 weeks ago. I went to this restaurant. I was not paying attention when I thought I was tagging the restaurant's location, but I tagged somewhere in Brazil. So one of the comments under my post said, wow, I just saw you a few minutes ago. I didn't realize Brazil, you were in Brazil when I saw you. I had no clue. I just want to tell you, it's that simple. People put out on social media an image of what they want you to think it is. But some of those people that you admire, they're renting. They're not driving their lease. They don't own it. Some of those ladies, they have a glam squad that puts their makeup and outfits together. And they only got those clothes because a stylist had a relationship with a designer. And they say, if you lend these clothes to my artist, we're going to advertise it on social media. So I just want you to understand, you have to set a standard for yourself. My standard for my girls is, if you're on social media, I shouldn't see you holding up the middle finger in your picture. I shouldn't see you twerking. Listen to the music that you have playing in your background. I know the beat is catchy. It's all this. Listen to what the words are saying, because again, you have to protect your brand. All right. Lead by example, take responsibility, set boundaries. I tell my kids this all the time. None of my friends can put any pictures of me or any video recordings of me without my consent. Before you upload it, I need to see what you're uploading. Because ultimately it is my brand. It is G. Ronette Motivational Speaking. It is Elite Ladies of Fairfield County School District. It is Superintendents of Schools, Dr. J.R. Green, and the Board of Trustees. That's my brand. I have a standard. So never allow someone to post anything that will show you in a negative light. And that leads to everything isn't shareable. Everything isn't shareable. Everybody doesn't need to have access to everything you have going on in your life, because as my kids say, because they're haters in these streets, Miss Brown. Adults have them too. So it's all about knowing who you are, what you bring to the table, and that you're valuable. It also requires you to be accountable. What is it going to cost me? We heard from the young lady before, and she's a student athlete at Coastal. And I'm telling you, I have a coach right now that has been suspended for 6 weeks from her college's dance line, all because she put up a dance video. Somebody created for her. She approved the dance video, but did not see the final product before they uploaded it to social media. It was Cardi B's new song talking about jealousy. And so when the band director and her dance line coach saw this video, they sat her down for 6 weeks, 6 games. She can't dance, college level. There is a cost to what you post. You don't have any idea what brand may be watching you, what business may be watching you, but understand the decisions, the choices that you make will not only affect your brand, but it also affects the brand of your team and your coaches. So protect your brand at all costs. Thank you all so much for listening on today. I hope that I shared or gave you some insight to understand that you are a brand as a student leader, that you are valuable, that it's more important what you think about yourself than what others think of you, and go and be great. Thank you.
Miss Brown, thank you so much. I'm over here clapping and shaking my head. Yes, yes, yes. Thank you for those points that you made for us. Leadership matters. First thing I took away. Are you protecting your brand individually and as a team? Self-confidence, which is very, very big. How do you yourself. And speaking of self-confidence, Miss Savannah Starling, one of our viewers, asked the question, how do you gain self-confidence back if you lose it? That is a great question.
Oh, that's a good question. Now, y'all may see me trying to get back to stop the share. Here it is. Okay, here we go. All right. How do you gain back self-confidence after losing it? It's all about what you say about yourself. I tell my kids this all the time. I tell this to Ms. Brown. Your mindset matters. So what I want to do is challenge you today to write out affirmations about yourself. I am valuable. I am beautiful. I am a go-getter. And every day, I want you can start off with 10 things about yourself. Every day going forward. And I tell my kids this for the next 90 days. And you might be like, golly, Ms. Brown, 90 days. They say after 90 days, you create a habit.
Mhm.
So if for 90 days, and you're not going to be perfect on it. Now, let me help you this. That's why all my affirmations, even if you saw around my desk, my cards, my note cards and everything, they're plastered on my bathroom mirror. Because guess what? I have to look in that mirror every day to brush my teeth. Okay. So every morning, even if I'm not saying it out loud, I'm looking at what those affirmations say about me. And one of those affirmations said, you are a great and highly requested motivational speaker. And I started saying that, and guess what happened, y'all? I'm a highly requested motivational speaker right now. So you can have what you say, but it's all about what you believe. It's about your belief system. And so I want to challenge you. You can reach out to me. I'll help you, but write down and then say every day who you are, what you are, and who you are becoming. And that will help you build back your self-confidence, because it happens to everybody, even adults, if they're honest with you. Great question.
Okay, now I'm off mute. We have a couple of more that came in
Okay.
from ALA Lexington. Have you ever had a student lose confidence, and what did you do for them?
Oh, yes. So I am big on, I pull them aside. I sometimes bring my kids have slept over at my house. We've had sleepovers or whatever. But if I notice that someone is, their self-esteem was up here at one point and then it's dropped, I pull them aside and then I reaffirm what I see in them,
Okay.
what I know them to be. And I just keep on drilling it into them. Every time I see them, I text them. So I may text them, good morning, beautiful. You are a terrific student. You are a terrific dancer. You go out and be great today. I reaffirm everything I get from them first, what is causing them to feel the way that they do. And then I counteract that. I tell them all the great things that they are. We all make mistakes. We all miss it. We
Mhm.
all have days where I don't want to get out of bed today. I want to sleep in and watch TV, Netflix, and chill all day. I don't want to clock in. Okay. We all have those moments where we have times of self-doubt, but understand your current situation, what you're facing right now, it's temporary. But our mind tricks us into thinking, oh my God, everybody knows this is the worst thing that has ever happened to me. And let me help y'all out. It ain't. This too shall pass. You'll get over it. Tomorrow is a new start, a new day for you to make a decision to go out and be great. And so that's how I encourage my kids. I just get in their faces and let them know I don't care what they say. Because sometimes it's their parents. Sometimes it's a relative. Sometimes it's somebody they thought was a best friend. And I just tell them, no, ma'am. No, sir. Not today. You're more than a conqueror. You're great. Your past mistake doesn't determine your future.
Mhm.
God doesn't consult your past to determine your future. So don't allow anybody else to. So, great question.
Thank you so much for that. And the next question comes from Lauren Rodriguez. And how can you build a teammate's confidence if they get down in a game or on the track in the case of our last speaker?
Okay. Well, I always my kids are all about building. They're about encouraging. So I run a dance team. So it's all about remembering choreography. And so if you go to a competition, and I've had girls come off the floor like, oh my God, I forgot to point my toes at this certain part. And the girls will huddle around them and be like, listen here, I forgot this right here, but I kept on going.
Right.
You know, I was supposed to move over to this side. I didn't. Okay. And I always tell people, I know you run a track. I used to run the 3,200, believe it or not, and throw shot put and discus. I used to. And I'll be very transparent. I got those 3,200 because I was laughing it up with the boys track team at that time. So my coach gave me the 3,200 as a form of punishment. And so I decided on this day, now the girls track team knew exactly what I was going. I am from the Low Country, but we had a track meet in Beaufort. It was 700 degrees outside. And so I decided, since the boys track team it caused me to have to run the 3,200, that after I went around 4 times, I was going to dramatically faint on the track. Yeah, I'm sorry. Okay, I did it. And the boys track team immediately came to retrieve me off the track. And my coach, who somehow must have caught wind that Brown is going to do this, walked into the middle of the track field and said, Brown, get up. And I was like, huh? And I mean, the boys track team, they were just done with me. The girls were hollering. See, that's team camaraderie. We gonna get y'all for getting our girl in trouble. So that, it was hilarious at the time. We still qualified. But my girls, I did the same thing. Look out for your sister. Have your sister's back. If you see them struggling and they're not hearing you, then you bring it to me. And then us together, we could team up and build them back up. So I hope that answered your question. If it didn't, say, Ms. Brown, give me something better. Okay.
And our last question, the last question I have right now is, how can a middle school student start being positive about themselves?
Wow. That's a great question.
Mm-hmm.
Limit your time on social media. I'm being serious now. Yeah. Limit your time on social media and quit comparing yourself to others. So my team, where I'm at, we have 100% free and reduced lunch, meaning the poverty level here is pretty high. So I tell my kids, quit comparing. It's hard because if everybody is wearing name brand, you're wearing Dunks, and you wearing kids. I was that kid. I didn't have name brand until I started being a part of athletics. So for track, I was like, Mom, I can't run in kids. I need some Reeboks. Reeboks were real big back in the day. Anyway. So I had to tell my mom, like, I need Reeboks. I need real tennis shoes to throw shot put and discus. Okay, so I was that kid. 2-parent household, but I couldn't necessarily afford everything, every name brand that my friends had. I understand this. Rock what you got and own it. When you all, as middle school students, stop trying to compare yourself, and it's hard because social media says compare yourself. Look what they're going on vacations. They're doing this. Their family's doing that. And my family's going to Myrtle Beach. And live it up in Myrtle Beach. It's the beach, because there's somebody who doesn't even have the opportunity to go to Myrtle Beach. So love where you're at and understand it's not your final destination. I tell my kids this all the time. You have no idea what people are doing in order for their parents, for them to afford the lifestyle that they're living. But understand your parents or your grandparents, which most of my kids are being raised by their grandparents, are doing the absolute best that they can. So be appreciative in that, because there is somebody who is having a much worse time than you are. So number one, limit your time on social media and quit comparing yourself to others, because you're valuable just as you are. Be you, uniquely you.
Thank you so
You
much
welcome.
for that. That was a great, great answer. And we thank you for presenting to our middle schoolers on today. It definitely gave us a lot to think about. And I hope that the middle schoolers definitely took something away so that they can be the most confident self that they can be. Thank you again for joining us. And we're going to move on to our final speaker, who is Master Sergeant Daniel Danny Allen. Danny currently serves as the Crime Prevention Officer and Assistant Public Information Officer for the Beaufort County Sheriff's Office. He is a native of Beaufort, South Carolina, where he was a three-sport athlete at Beaufort High School. After high school, he attended Tennessee State University and was a member of their track team. He earned his bachelor's degree in sociology from Francis Marion University and a master's in criminal and social justice policy from Coker University. In 2006, Danny began his career with the Beaufort County Sheriff's Office in the Northern Patrol Division. He later became a school research officer, which you all call SRO, serving at Battery Creek High School for 3 years and later at Well Branch Early College for 5 years. In 2021, he was honored as the SRO of the Year for the Low Country and State of South Carolina. He has stints as communications liaison, CALA accreditation officer, and team leader of the crisis negotiation team. He is an adjunct professor for the Technical College of the Low Country. Danny is the president of the Beaufort chapter of Omega Psi Phi Fraternity Incorporated. He is most proud of being a husband and a father of 3 great children. On the screen with us now is Master Sergeant Daniel Danny Allen. Welcome on in.
Hello, 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 and I'll go ahead and start sharing my screen. So I hope everyone is doing well. Y'all have had a wealth of knowledge shared with y'all today, and I just hope to add to that. She's already said who I am. I'll have my information up in the end. Here's some of the information now, but I will have it up at the very end as well. So you heard a little bit about me, being a former athlete through middle school. I started off for schools in middle school. Of course, I did things for our parks and leisure services, or Pee Wee leagues prior to that. And then went off to college and had the opportunity to at least start off. And I'll be honest, I stopped very early in college, kind of lost my way or whatever. And some of us may have some hard times at times, and makes us stop doing something we thought we may have a passion for. And so more importantly, I want to start off with mentioning, like I said, I have 3 beautiful children, but I'll mention my oldest 2, because you all may be able to relate to them and some kids that I've mentored. Here's a picture of my oldest 2. My oldest is a junior at Well Branch High School, 3-sport athlete. His main focus is on football. He kind of runs track and does wrestling to keep him in shape for football. But he's looking to try to play football in college. Matter of fact, just this morning, I ended up sending emails out to some coaches this morning, and him sending messages out last night as well. And then I have my daughter. She is in 8th grade at Ladies Island Middle School, the 8th grade class president, and she is big into dance. I wanted to get her to run track too, because she is very fast, but she is very big in dance. We go all over with her and her dance team. She's won many awards, Dance of the Year and other things. And she wants to dance in college. I mentioned them because what I'm going to say to you is not just something that I just pulled out of a hat, or I'm just saying it as a cop, or even just as a father. I'm saying it because I really mean it, and I even mean it for my own children, to help my kids, my nieces, my nephews. And so it really does mean something, and I can see how it has been an assist to them as well. So I also want to mention some young men that I've mentored, continue to mentor, who have gone off to the next level. Several young men that I've mentored through their high school years, and I check in with them and throughout college. They've gone to multiple different places and have been able to accomplish some great things, but not without some challenges. And some of those challenges have been related to social media and things they may have posted. Even though I show some of these guys, and I have a lot of other guys that I could show, I can also show you a lot of guys who weren't able to make it because of some things they posted. Because today, the main thing I was asked to speak to y'all about is social media and how it could be not only helpful, but how it could be a harm to you. And so as you look here and you can see some guys at Clemson, a young man at playing basketball for Alabama and several other schools throughout the state, or even right in the middle, a young man I mentor. He's a grown man now, but he plays for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And so, you know, being careful and being mindful of what you put out there truly can not only help you get to where you want to get to, like these young men have, but also not being careful about it can hinder you from getting to these locations as well. So I also wanted you to see that, you know, this information could be helpful to you to get you to that next level. So, and I know we're not really in a setting where you can ask me or raise your hand right now, and I will be answering questions in the end, but I do want you to think about it for a moment and say, where do you want to go? Or what do you want to do in your future life? You know, we're in middle school now, but after high school, what do you want to do? Do you want to go off to college? I show you a picture that pretty much shows all of the four-year universities just in South Carolina alone. Some of us don't realize how many colleges are actually in South Carolina, where that may give you the opportunity to compete on the next level, since most of you are athletes. You know, if you want to run track or volleyball or tennis, football, basketball, no matter what your sport may be, you know, there are multiple opportunities for you, not just the large schools that we all know of, like the Clemsons and USCs. There are a lot of other opportunities out there. Is that something that you want? And that's just a picture from South Carolina. But of course, there are hundreds, thousands of colleges out there throughout our nation and other parts of our world. So is that something that you want? Do you want to go off to college? Maybe some of you say, well, I want to go into the military. There's multiple ranks of the military. You may want to go off and find a successful career, do something in the military. Or some of you may say, well, after high school, I want to go into a trade, or I want to start my own business. I want to be an entrepreneur. But I want you to understand, no matter what you really want to do, you got to realize that some things that you post now, even in middle school, or as you go into high school, because some of you are probably eighth graders, what you post now could be a hindrance to that. What you post now could actually block you from being able to gain some of the things that you actually want to do in your life. Or it could come up again later on. I have known of a few former students, two I can think of, a male and a female, who actually I mentored. They looked up to me. They wanted to work with me with my agency. And even though they had graduated from their high school 10 years prior, some things that they did in high school were actually the things that was used to stop them from being able to be hired. So you don't realize some of the things that you do now, even though you're youth, you're kids, you're young, you're teenagers, it can come back to haunt you or bite you in the end. So we do have to be mindful of these things, because all of you are future leaders. You're leaders now, but you're future leaders. You have the ability to be future leaders. We have doctors sitting on the other side of this computer now. We have principals, you know, different college professors. Who knows? We may have my new boss sitting across from us right now in this Zoom. But you don't want to have something that blocks you from that opportunity. So if we were to ask you, do you think that social media can stop you from doing anything? Or maybe that might be something that somebody looks at. And if you say no, that what I post shouldn't bother me from being able to do some of the things I want to do, unfortunately, you'll be wrong. And here's some examples of that. Just to read these 4 out, you got one coach that posted, recruits, social media matters. I have now dropped 15 recruits this year because of their Twitter posts, likes or retweets. Explicit images, racist words, and demeaning posts are unacceptable. Your thumbs are killing your opportunities. I want to go back to something. He is not just what you post, but if you notice, he said their likes and their retweets. I tell my son all the time, be mindful of what you may like, even though it's not something you posted. If you're liking it, then if you're commenting on it, because our comments as well, it may not be your post, but your comments, somebody can see that and say, okay, this is what you're following. This is the toxic behavior that you like. If you don't have any problem with this, what might you do? So we also got to be careful of the things that we may like that our friends share, even if you're not the one that shared it. I will also say be careful on your friends tagging you in things. Monitor your own pages. And if you notice that somebody tagged you in something that is not good, make sure you untag yourself. Because even though you're not the one posting it, it still could be something that looks bad on you. So a coach from Penn State said, dropped another prospect this AM due to his social media presence. Actually glad that I got to see the real person before we offered him. I have seen this happen. I have seen some athletes, and I've pulled them off to the side because I've seen them make different posts that may have had gang images in it. It may have had them just holding up middle fingers. Had young ladies being a little bit too provocative or showing too much. And I've seen coaches like them, want to follow them, actually were asking coaches and other folks about them. And then once they finally followed them on social media, all the attention went away. And sometimes I've seen the students ask, well, I don't get it. They seem like they were interested in me, and then all of a sudden they just ghosted me. All of a sudden they're not responding to any of my comments. And then you go look at your social media page and say, I see why. Everything that you have on your social media page is a negative. You think that it's, nice, it's lit, it's, it gets the attention of your peers. But you got to think, social media truly is a tool, and it should be used in a positive manner. And for several of you, if you're really wanting to go on to the next level, you have to think, if these schools are looking at this stuff, would they want me? Because for some of them, like this coach said, I'm glad to see the real person before we offered them. They know when they talk to you, you're going to be smiles, you're going to be yes sirs, yes ma'ams, you're going to have the respect, but they may think you're just putting on. So they may look at your social media to try to see, what is your life really like? And what images are you showing? Under that, you see Duke University, a coach said, our jobs depend on the young men that we recruit. Your social media pages say a lot about your character, discipline, and common sense. Please, folks, when you're out there, make sure you're using your social media pages in a good way, and that you are disciplined when you are putting that out there, what you're putting out there, but also you're having common sense, and you're showing that you have common sense even when the coaches and your parents aren't around. And then the last one at SMU, a coach said, came across an awful Twitter account today. Shame, the kid was really good, a really good player. On to the next one. Get a clue. Last year, a lot of national attention went on a kid who was one of the top prospects in the nation, definitely a top prospect in his particular state. And because he didn't actually use a racial word, but he posted a video acting as if he was rapping or lip singing a song, and that song had a racial word in it. And even though he didn't say the word, because he posted it, he ended up losing all of his offers. You need to think about that. Okay? What you post truly can hinder you or hurt you. So there's some things about social media you really need to know. You really need to understand as it does pertain to social media and how it can, hurt you or make things harder for you. The number one thing is this: posts really don't go away. Yes, you have some of these platforms that it's supposed to disappear within, a certain time frame. You on some of these platforms, you may say, well, I'll go back and delete it, or it's supposed to go away, or whatever else. But I can definitely tell you from a law enforcement perspective, if there is something out there that you posted, even if you go back and deleted it, most of these platforms are saving stuff in some way or some fashion, and so it can come back up and can come back up in a legal way. Now, here's another thing: even though the post may go away on certain platforms, somebody could save it, somebody could screen record it. Now, I know there are some actual apps that it'll tell you if somebody screen records it, but what if somebody, instead of them screen recording it just off their phone, what if they grab one of their friends' phone, they're playing it on one phone, and then they just video what they're showing on the other? You would never know that it was recorded, okay? And so even in that sense, once you put it out there, it's out there for the world to see. Please make sure what you're putting out there is something you want people to see. And if it's not something you would want everyone to see, then you don't need to put it out there. Even if you think that you're sending it to one person, you may say, well, that was a private message between just me and them, or that was a private message for just me and my teammates. Once you put it out there, you cannot control what somebody else does with it. So again, if you don't want others to see it, if you wouldn't want your mama to see it, if you go to church, you don't want your pastor to see it, if you wouldn't want your teacher or your principals to see it, if you wouldn't want other folks to see that, don't post it. It's as simple as that. And posting is also, added in DMs or other messages. Don't send it out there if you don't want others to see it, because you really can't control where it goes and what people can see. So there's also some other dangers of posting pictures, videos. There's dangers in putting your information out there. There are predators out there. Once you post it, you don't really know who you're sending something to. You may even think you know who you're talking to, and it could be someone else. We have had older males, older females, 40, 50, 60 years old, who were acting as if they were 14-year-olds or 15-year-olds. They try to gain your trust, and then they may try to lure you out. If it's even been some folks who they thought they were talking to a schoolmate, same picture and everything, but it ended up being someone in their family just using their page. So you have to be very careful about who you're talking to and what you're posting. Be mindful of what's in your backgrounds. If you're outside of your house, are you showing your house address somehow, some way? You may mention the street that you're on, and you may never mention your house number or your address, but the house number may be posted behind you, or you may be near a mailbox. You may be near dancing by your parents' car and their tag is showing. Or you could be just in your room and you're showing what's in your house, what's in your room, the type of things that are around. You could even have somebody who's not interested in you, but they could be interested in a family member, maybe interested in a younger sibling or someone else, someone that they think it would be easy to take advantage of. So you have to be mindful of what you're posting and when you're posting it. Okay, where are you posting it at, and what's actually in the backgrounds too. Okay, because you never know who's really watching or who could use that to try to take advantage of a situation. Again, you have to be mindful that you can truly hinder your future opportunities with what you're posting on social media. You may have someone who won't hire you for a job. Schools, everyone's looking at social media. Colleges may look at it to see if it's between you and 10 other students to finally get this last scholarship or to get accepted into school. Your social media platform may be looked at, and that may be the thing that they help use to determine if they're going to actually give you that opportunity or not. When you're talking about most jobs, I can tell you my job looks at social media when we're hiring people. If there's something that is not right, they're not going to get hired. college coaches, and even other opportunities. They are looking at social media. The military is also looking at people's social media before they are recruiting some of these guys and ladies. So you do need to be mindful. You truly can hinder future opportunities for yourself and your family. Understand there could be charges and school discipline, which I am going to hit on that. But you could be charged for what you post on social media. Even if you're at home, in your house, not even near anyone, you could be charged or disciplined at school for what you're posting. Okay. And then, of course, it could be the continued embarrassment. And I'll also add the continued mental issues that can come from it. You know, you could be continually harassed, you could suffer from depression, you can suffer from other things, and it could be continuous because, again, the posts don't go away. And even if it's deleted, someone could continue to share it, and therefore you're continuing to be traumatized by it. So please understand that as well. So, what are some of the common laws that or charges that juveniles may be hit with? One, assault and battery. Third, which is threats. I know when we talk about assault and battery, someone thinks, well, I didn't touch them. I didn't physically hit them. But did you make a threat towards them? Did you threaten to do bodily harm to them or whatever else? You could be charged based off the words that you say, especially if you have the means of carrying it out. Okay, so you have to be careful of the words that you're saying, not just face to face with someone, but also through text and also on social media. You can be charged for what you're saying if you're making threats. There are student threat laws that pertain with your schools and other things as you're in school or even outside of school, bus stops, because a bus stop is still considered school property. And so you do have to be mindful, again, of what you're doing physically and verbally. You also have a law called unlawful communications. Unlawful communications is a law that someone can be charged with if you are sending me a text and I ask you to stop texting me and you continue to text me, you have now broken the law. If I've asked you, please don't talk to me, don't comment on anything that I may post, and you continuously make comments underneath my social media posts, you are now breaking the law. So unlawful communications basically deals with any electronic communication. If somebody asks you not to contact them and you continue to contact them, you can be charged with unlawful communications. It's just like trespassing. If I ask you not to come on my property and you come on my property anyway, you now can be charged after I've asked you not to do it. Harassment. And we see harassment in multiple different ways. Harassment could be physical harassment. It could be somebody following someone around. But you also have, as it pertains to social media, cyber stalking and cyber bullying. If there is continued examples of you annoying someone, bothering somebody on purpose, you could be charged with different charges that deals with harassment. Okay. And then you also have sexual exploitation of minors. Basically, you have to be careful what you post and what you send out. Because of your age, anything that is sexual in nature that may be revealing of your body parts could be seen as child pornography. Even if you, as a child, is sending it to another child, same age, at that point in time, once it is shared, you're actually sharing what is known as child pornography. And you could be charged for that, even as you being the sender of pictures of yourself. If you're sharing pictures of someone else, you could be charged with it. Even just having it on your phone or on your device, you could be charged for having child pornography. So you do need to understand that, because that is a big problem. Kids sending pictures to each other that they should not be sending. That is a problem, and children have been charged for that. You'd also have other charges stemming from the South Carolina education section, because of course bullying and other issues have been a problem, but definitely in schools. And so that is prohibited. And so someone can be charged with that. But notice the next one that says carrying or delivering a challenge. these social media challenges have become a big problem with schools and with youth. And so if you could be in a lot of trouble if you are found to be the person who is either starting a new challenge, following or acting in with new challenges, or trying to get someone else to do it. So basically, don't do these challenges. Don't be idiotic enough to act in some of these challenges. Some of these challenges have ended up leading to injuries, health problems, and even death amongst children. And so it is a very serious problem. And honestly, you don't know how something may affect you sometimes until it's too late. And so to stop that, we have started charging kids with some of those challenges. And so I do want you to know this: posting any footage of an illegal act on social media, even on your personal or private accounts, can have serious legal consequences in South Carolina. Even if you didn't engage in the unlawful activity yourself, meaning maybe you filmed somebody else doing something, but you're the one that's posting it, or even if you weren't even there, but you're just sharing it, you could face some serious issues. Depending on the type of crime that is being committed, you could face criminal charges such as harassment, stalking, or even fraud, or some of the other things that I did mention. And when we do talk about charges, I do want you to know an example of one. So cyber stalking, just to give one example, can lead to a significant legal consequences and is punishable by a maximum fine of $2,000 and or a maximum prison term of 2 years. So someone could be sent off to DJJ or the Department of Juvenile Justice, and you could be sentenced to up to 2 years for just cyber stalking. And a lot of those other crimes carry the same, some have lesser fines or prison terms, some have more. So that's just an example that even the smallest thing or something you may not think is that big. Oh, I was just messing with him. I was just joking with him. It wasn't that serious. If somebody else is taking it serious, but you can't control how somebody else takes it, what you may think is a joke, someone else may not feel like it's a joke, especially if they have several other people doing it. Or maybe your joke is shared several times. Someone else could really be harmed by that. And so you could be charged by what you're doing. And if you're charged, even though it's a juvenile record, that stuff is going to follow you. And again, could hinder you from future opportunities. So in conclusion, I just want y'all to understand something. We truly want you to be smart and safe when you're on social media. Folks, you're going to use social media. It's a part of your times. You're going to use it. And it's a great tool. Majority of the folks who are getting scholarship opportunities now, the way they're reaching out to coaches is to Twitter. That's the platform they have to have. I hate Twitter, but I had to get a Twitter platform as I help my son try to be recruited. He uses Twitter for all of his posts now. And that's the way that he contacts the coaches. That's the way he stays in contact with them. That's how he posts his stats, his videos, and other things. We use Facebook and Instagram and Snapchat to show my daughter's dancing videos, show her opportunities. And we have had folks contact us for different dancing opportunities or modeling opportunities based off what we've shared. So social media truly can be used as a platform to help you gain future opportunities. But you have to be mindful. You have to be careful. If you have to hide it, meaning some of these apps that you really shouldn't be on and that you're hiding it from your parents or hiding it from others, then you shouldn't be on it. Go ahead and delete those. Stay on the main ones. But even on the main ones, if there's not an adult paying attention to what you're posting, please be smart about what you're posting. Don't put anything out there you wouldn't want anyone else to see. So I'm gonna stop there, and I'm gonna answer any questions that anyone may have. But I truly hope that the information was helpful to you all, and that it's something that you can take away.
Thank you, Master Sergeant Allen. It was definitely helpful to me having a high schooler as a grandson. So definitely will be passing on some of those tidbits you gave. Even though I knew that social media, you can't delete it. It's always good to have someone in your position to reinforce that. So we hope that the middle schoolers definitely listen to what you had to say and take that opportunity to be mindful of what they post. So one thing that we definitely want you to just give them one other little piece of, give some examples of how to positively post on social media that will not hinder them as they matriculate through, finish middle school, go through high school, and possibly college, and in the workforce.
Being positive, posting positive things. It doesn't always have to be in relation to their sport. It could just be, for those that are believers, a Bible verse for the day. You could be reposting, a positive thing that somebody else has posted. Post positive, things with your family or something like that. But also, if you do, those of you, since most of you play a sport, if you got different accomplishments, or even as you're preparing for a game, maybe it's you training. It's showing that you are out here doing positive things and that your mind is in a positive place. I would say be mindful if you're posting like highlight videos or something like that. Be mindful of the music that you use. Make sure that it doesn't have cursing or it doesn't have the wrong images or words in it, because you don't want a great video to be ruined, because most of those coaches, they can't share it themselves if it has cursing and other things in it, right? And so you put the best highlight video together, but now nobody else can look at it. So keep that in mind too, what music that you're listening to, and what you're posting, but try to post as much positivity as possible. And don't post negativity. What I mean by that, even if you're having the worst day ever, don't post about it. Maybe if somebody, upset you, made you angry, don't post about it. Keep all your posts positive. That would be a key, I would say.
Well, thank you so much, Master Sergeant Allen, for all those points. And the biggest thing I take away from it is be careful of what you post and what you retweet and what you comment on, because it is a reflection of you. Irregardless of, you may just say, "Oh, that's cute," and just hit the little heart for the like button. That means you liked it. You may not have read it thoroughly, but it means you liked it. So guess what? Master Sergeant Allen gonna look at it and say, "Hey, Ramanda posted, she liked that post, so I guess she believes in it." Well, thank you again for taking time out of your busy schedules to join us and give our middle schoolers some insight on how they can be more productive via social media.
My pleasure.
Of course, and before I go on to I bring back to the screen Dr. Cottrell Rodan, who is our Director of Educational Services, to give some final thoughts on the workshop.
What a wonderful, wonderful workshop. We are so delighted to have had these wonderful speakers from different backgrounds to help you guys see how you can be great leaders as you are doing your sports now, and then as you move into the high school realm. I want you to utilize this great work that you've gotten from each of them to find your motivation, to have self-confidence, and to use social media wisely. Thank you for joining us, and we're so glad that all of you were here with us today. Have a great day.
Thank you, Dr. Rodan. And before we close out, let me just give you a couple of things. Next week, September 25th through the 29th, is Emergency Action Plan Practice Week for fall sports. We encourage the fall sports team, just take a few minutes out of your practice time to practice your EAP to help you be better prepared in the case of a medical emergency. And 2 weeks from now, Fall Sports Officials Appreciation Week is October 1st through the 7th. Show your appreciation to our officials throughout the state of South Carolina. We thank you all for attending today's Middle School Leadership Summit. We hope that you got something that you can take away with you for the rest of the season and throughout your life as you continue on through your education. Thank you and have this. And this does end our conference.